Aquinas Filament Detachment um, approached me with the words, it must be the trees and the succulent machines, which sounds sarcastic, but it's actually what they were doing. We know that they had encryptions like Thursday is a day two in Nabucco's stupid code of what boys should do and girls should do. Nabucco was the star of the film Children of Hiroshima. Wed first, get it? Thursday is a day two, you wed first. Nabucco's stupid code of what boys should do and girls should do. They had a Linda Harrington and a Ben Byington buy her a ring, get it? Harrington, Byington. Sir John Harrington is credited with the quote, if treason prospers, none dare call it treason. One of the reasons why America can't find any inspiring politicians is the example that Joe Biden kept was like, you won't call me a liberal. You won't call me a liberal. I'm going to vote with Bush on Iraq. I'm going to make stiff sentences for marijuana holding adults. It doesn't, it's Congress unbecoming. And if you look at Pittsburgh's nattering, they say what they cannot say, what they dare not say, what they will never utter, because it will unglue the entire tapestry of Donald Trump going back to Ronald Reagan and Lyndon Johnson before him, Nixon, the whole storyline. So the liberal has a point. They will never say it. Therefore, when you find Reagan sitting next to a bust of Hitler with a U.S. over a swastika and it says rather us inside one of his films, hidden as an encryption in one of his films, they will never say the liberal who found that has a point. When you discover he was working with the men who developed the Burning Cross for the KKK, the NAACP will never say the white liberal has a point. They will never say it. They will say you're going to eat that. Like Kennedy was liberal, and the bullet surmounted the ballot. The liberal has a point. The evidence shows that Reagan's the killers was in on what was done to JFK. The liberal has a point. All they say is if you name the perpetrators, you commit treason. If treason prospers, none dare call it treason. They call loyalty to the system treason. So the liberal has a point. Sexual infidelity isn't so unusual that you burn people at the stake selectively because they were categorically considered liberals. You don't blow up the children of Gaza because a porn star practiced birth control. The liberal has a point. You can't even do it when Bush says read his lips, right? He can mouth the words. Here's another good example. The University of Pittsburgh, when they aren't down on their knees administering to Nosferatu's gang, Probanic, the whole porpoise and seal clap for a fish show that goes on downtown in the city of Pittsburgh. They are love slaves to Wattenmaker and Zionism, absolute love slaves. You ever hear about Fetterman? He's the golem, the colossus that they evoked from clay. Said, come and protect the Jewish community, Fetterman. One of Josh Shapiro's whimsies with David Wecht. Yes, I'm naming you. And they blot off the death vow. Oh, you're not a team player. Eric Slagle said that for Edna Snyder. You're not a team player. Because, of course, I had asked the relevant questions about what became of Clemente and why these Zionist scriptwriters who claim that I am to blame for something they did, if it happened at all, called me to report in glee that Clemente had disappeared. They will never say it. While Winemaker was with me, there was Bob Prince. And Fripp's going to say, oh, he's exploiting the celebrities. He's exploiting the celebrities. He encroached. He pushed his way to the front. There was Bob Prince out in the middle of Ford's Field talking to someone. So I stood there watching. He was 100 yards away, very small. And he was talking to somebody. I didn't want to interrupt while they were talking. So I stood there, up by third base, where it used to be. Ford's Field was being torn down. Wadmaker didn't want to stay. He runs off. He's the team player. He doesn't want to get Bob Prince's autograph. The liberal has a point. So, because they're too busy saying the Zionist has a point. The foreign English has a point. Queerball, the white liberal, will never have a point. So I waited and waited and waited. And eventually the guy said his goodbye to Bob Prince and walked off. And Bob Prince was having a moment of reflection by himself. So I began walking the long way out to him. And he was still standing by himself. And he basically patted me on the head and smiled and gladly gave me his autograph. How's that for a memory? Liberal ain't got no point. No, that's not normal. Wadmaker force feeding him a nerve agent, that's a provincial norm. He's impugning Mazeroski. He's trying to upstage the Beatles, the Magnificent. Things I knew nothing about. I got up and moved at the table at Claymont because I wanted to hear. But now he did something no professor of higher learning. I have moved to the front in class after class after class. Read my lips because I am deaf. Without gyrations, hordes of MAGA types, rave masquering and screaming from the windows, beating on, breaking my door down, poisoning my food, raping my advocates, and running off with my Sabine bride. Because I waited a good long time and gracefully approached somebody who I admired and asked for an autograph. This will never be resolved. This will never be resolved. It's all a matter of semantics. Biden's going to drop 2,000-pound bunker bombs on tents. We're not going to have none of this crybaby stuff. And don't say like Anne Frank. When you see them crying in horror and terror, the children, don't say like Anne Frank. Liberal ain't got no point. No, son. No, son.